Well, welcome back again to another anime recommendation. This recommendation is going to be on the anime called The Irregular at Magic High School. Now, this anime has been on my watch list for years now. I remember it was actually first recommended to me by my roommate when I was in the army. Because like he knew I was an anime watcher and he actually recommended this to me thinking that I might find it enjoyable because I know he was really liking it. And he thought like I might like it too. Like his description of the show was kind of weird, but it was really spot on because he was saying like the main character is really powerful and that his sister like really likes him. And he said something funny. He said the funniest part. He said like is that like she would sleep with him if he actually wanted to. And that's the way he was like joking about the show. Like he thought it was funny. And at the time I thought it was kind of weird because like how is that funny? Because like I got done watching Sword Online around the time season 2, I believe. Whenever Kirito's cousin comes up, and I know that his cousin had a thing for him, and I thought that was kind of weird. But when I see it in this show, it actually is more of a comedic thing. Like I find it more funny now, maybe just because like I watch more anime now, so I'm like kind of desensitized to it. But right now, I really just see like the humor in the relationship like that, because like really one sided, where she like has a big crush on him, but he doesn't look at her that type of way at all. So now the genres that Crunchyroll labeled this show with is action, drama, fantasy, sci-fi, and supernatural. But it also should have a power fantasy tag because that's what this show is. But to me, like I've been watching more power fantasies lately just to see if I could find a good one that's worth mentioning. And I would say this is it because like this a lot. It's a lot of things that this show does. I'll say right that other power fantasies don't actually try to do. I would say one of the ways it does is the way it handles like the harem situation because like in like a lot of power fantasy like it's like all the female characters only go after the one guy, like they all have a crush on the main character. But in this show you can see relationship starts up between like a few different characters. I think it shows about three different couples or four. I think probably four actually, and it has nothing to do with the main character. Like honestly, I feel that the way this one shows romance is actually way better than a lot of animes that came out recently. This also has a hard magic system, like unlike something like Naruto that has like a soft magic system. This magic system is really detailed, and like at the first time I tried watching this like on sub, like it didn't really make sense. I had to wait for the dub to come out just so I could understand the magic system because it was like so confusing. If you just try and read it all, it didn't really make sense to me. But the dub, like when they explained it like with words that I could actually hear, it actually makes way more sense now. I also like the way this show handles its side characters because a lot of characters feel like they have a purpose in the story where like they're not all just dependent on the main character to do all the fighting. There's a lot of times where like the main character actually needs their help, which I enjoy to see because I know certain shows like, well, I'll say Dragon Ball Z is like one of the worst like offenders of this action. But like when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, like only one person can actually fight the bad guy because like they're too powerful. But in this one's like no, everybody can contribute to the fight, which is what I enjoy. So I just got done watching the 2 seasons and the 1 hour long movie. Well, the movie is actually an hour and 11 minutes, and the 2 seasons that should be about 39 episodes actually. And it's kind of good I watched that much because like it always had more questions. Like I still have a couple questions left, but I gotta say that movie really did help clear up a lot of things that I was trying to figure out. Kind of like how like his powers actually work and how he actually got them. Like it didn't really make sense to me in the anime, but when the way the movie kind of explains it, it makes way more sense now. The movie actually goes more in detail and actually explaining like his relationship with his sister. Cause like I was trying to figure out this whole time. Cause like in episode 1, it says they're the same age and their birthday is like 1 month apart. And I was trying to figure out like what's going on with that. Like is he actually his sis? Is he actually her older brother? And I was trying to figure out, and it turns out that yeah, he actually is her biological older brother. But it's just something that happened when he was born that he was a defective, a magician or something like that. I believe that's what they called it. So, since he is a defective magician, his only ability is to break down and reconstruct things, which I think is a cool ability. Like, it is really useful for fighting, but that's what I think he's really good for. And that's what I kind of enjoy about the show because, like, it gives the other characters their time to shine. They can do the things that he can't do, and I think that's kind of important. The movie, I should say, also explains his like lack of emotions because apparently, like when he was like still like a kid or something, like his mother did something to his brain that was supposed to help him be able to use magic to a certain degree, but at the same time, it like took away all of his emotions. Like the only emotion he has left is the emotion of protecting his little sister. Like it's only his love for her, the only thing that still remains. But like I said, it's not really like a romantic love. Like that's only on her part. But he just like really wants to look out for her. And she's the only person he cares about. So the first episode starts out with Tatsuya, the main character, and his sister Miyuki. Like they're at the entrance ceremony to the National Magical University affiliated First High School. It's an elite magical school that only like the best students can actually attend. So like even like the worst students there are actually kind of special, which actually makes sense because like it's a lot of times you see like a lot of the characters that they call weeds who have nothing on their shoulders are doing like great things, are doing like amazing things and all that with their magic. But it doesn't really show. It does show a couple blooms doing like good things too, but it's kind of like even though because like the show has like a lot of weed main characters. Just because like well the main character is a weed, so it shows more of his friends. Then it shows like these two other girls that are blooms, but they don't really have a big part in the story. At least not until like the end of the second season or something like that. And the show also do show like some blooms acting kind of like crazy, or they acting kind of like arrogant and stuck up, just because like they're like looked at as more elite than the other students. So I remember in the first episode, like the vice president of the student council, he just like glares at Tatsuya for no reason, just because he's hanging around his own sister. Like yeah, like his sister's a bloom, he's a weeb, but like it's like they're expecting him to not hang out no more. I think that's kind of going a little too far. It didn't really make sense. And that's not the only time it happened in the first episode. Also, like when they were trying to sit like at lunch, these other blooms actually got in the way of his sister trying to eat lunch with him. Then at the end of the show, the same blooms come back again and try to get into an argument with them just because that they're trying to walk home together. I'm like, this is like taking it a little too far. But I gotta say, it was actually the scene at the last episode when they was getting to that confrontation that actually made me like the side characters more, because it was the three main side characters, which is Mizuki, Erika, and Leo, when they was like standing up for like them to walk home together and still being act like brother and sisters. Because and especially it was that girl Mizuki, because she's like one of those shy type anime girls, so it's kind of like I was kind of a little surprised to see that she was like really vocal about them not getting in their way. I also gotta say, with Miyuki's like brother complex, I'm surprised that she didn't get mad and do something about that, because like I know like a lot of people has a problem with her brother complex, how she's like in love with her own brother. And I watched like 6 different reviews on this anime after I got done watching the show, and all of them brought that up as like a big problem with the story. Like me though, I just take it as a joke, because I don't take anime too seriously. I mean, I watch anime just to like break free from reality for a moment, just to watch something funny and silly. Like I don't take anything that I see in anime too seriously, but certain people do, and I understand that. Like some people, they can't like, I guess they can't like change. I guess they can't see the difference between fiction and reality. But I was reading a couple comments on the YouTube comment section, and they were saying, and there was this one weird comment that said that this show encourages incest, discrimination, and racism. And I'm like, where they see racism at in this show? I mean, I watched the show, I watched the whole show, and I was paying attention to everything. Like, I wasn't like eating while I was watching anything. Like, I don't understand where like the whole, like how it encouraged racism. I mean, I didn't see that. But maybe they're talking about the whole blooming weed thing. I don't really understand that one, but I guess so, because like this show takes place in Japan. I mean, it is in season 2 where a girl from America shows up, but they're really nice to her. So I'm really confused with that comment. And it was like a lot of the reviews just like naming off like random, well, I wouldn't say random, but they were just naming off like bad traits of the show, and it was calling like basically power fantasies bad shows. But I gotta say, like there's a certain charm to power fantasy shows, just because like there is no tension. Cause I know they kept on saying like this anime got no tension because the main character is too strong. He can even revive people and fix injuries as long as it didn't happen outside of 24 hours. And I'm like, well, if it's like when I watch power fantasy, I just watch something just to watch somebody do things, just to do cool things. I really don't want tension in my power fantasy. It's supposed to be like a fun time. That's the point of power fantasies for me. So I mean, like you can't really like judge like this show like you're watching like a battle show in like Bleach or something. It's like trying to compare like Death Note to One Piece. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I gotta say, for a power fantasy, this show is pretty solid, and especially like the way like it does all these different like different magic tricks and all that. Because I remember like my appeal to Naruto when I first started watching Naruto, it was all the different ninjutsus that they could do in the show. I always wanted to see like a new attack, and I thought it was kind of cool and all that. And that's kind of like the same vibe I get from watching this show with all these different magical abilities, because you never know what they're gonna pull out next. And I'm always interested in seeing a new next cool trick. So anyway, if you like Power Fantasy, this show just might be for you. I think this is one of the better Power Fantasy shows out there. But anyway, this is my anime recommendation. So I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy.